What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Slightly different from the NBA podcast that we do as a three. This time, we're going to be running through Sorare, and in particularly, I'm going to get Louis and Lewis here to run through their Sorare NBA teams. The first time they're playing it this year, they're coming on board. Let's go. Before we jump into the rest of this video, though, nearly 80% of you are not subscribed to us here at the Swingman Podcast. Now, if you love the NBA and you want to stay in depth with everything this season, and also the Sorare NBA stuff we're going to be doing, and trust me, you're going to want to stay involved with it, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It will really help us out more than you could possibly imagine. Let's get on with the video. Right then. So, I mean, as you can see on the screen, Louis has signed up to Sorare NBA this year. This is Louis' initial picks that he's got. I'm not going to speak too much. I want Louis to sort of gauge us and run us through what he's got here. These are obviously the 23 common cards that you get for signing up. If you're not signed up to Sorare yourself, there'll be a link in the description down below to get involved this season. What better time to do it than the start of the NBA season? Now, Louis, these were the 5 that you were given. What are you feeling? Like, where's your knowledge on Sorare? Because there's no silly questions on this one. This is an informative video.
Yeah, honestly, I've got a very foundational, basic lack of knowledge, if I'm quite honest. From what I understand, it's like a fantasy football type game. So in my head, the one that makes most sense to pick here anyway would be Jokic, because he stuffs all the stats particularly. I'm not sure if there are particular stats that are worth more than others or anything like that. And he also plays pretty much every game in comparison to, Steph particularly, Dame as well, you would say as well. And I know Giannis misses a couple games. So that's where I'm leaning. I'd like some confirmation on this, though, particularly if that is the right way to do it.
So I think the way in which the scoring matrix is done is pretty similar to how you would imagine a fantasy sports game to work, but there are a bit more advanced modules, especially on the football side. But on the NBA side, it's like a point is a point, but obviously if you get a 3-pointer, they'll give you an extra point, so then you're getting 4. Rebounds, okay. I think, are 1.2. Assists are either 1 or 1.5. There's steals involved as well. I think you get 4 per steal, 4 per block, -2 every turnover, and then I think that's the gist of the scoring matrix. And then you get an extra point if you get a double-double, and an extra point if you get a triple-double. Is
there any sort of penalties, I would say, for like missing shots or like missing free throws or something like that?
Yeah, indirect shot, one of those 5 in there in that choice.
But no, there's no penalties for sort of poor field goal percentage or anything like that.
Okay.
So, off of this, I think you should take Jokic. And then also, the longer you have them, I think, I'm not sure on the common side of it this year, but they will accrue XP. So the more you have them, the more you play them, the better they'll get in terms of scoring points for you as well. But I think Jokic is probably the best MVP that you can have in general, is what I'd say. So it's a strong start.
Whoa.
So this will be if you scroll through, this is what you'll get. All right, so you picked up a Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's a solid scorer. Yeah.
I like this one as well, you know.
A little bit of KP. But the idea in terms of on the common side specifically as well is on the pickup mode, you get an MVP and you get 120 points as the cap space. And the MVP side of things won't affect it. So all of these will have a cap, which is based off their average score in the past 10 games. And that's how it accumulates it. So you can't, it's not just like, oh, I'll play Giannis, Luka, Jokic, LeBron, AD. It doesn't work like that. And then obviously you're going to get role guys that come in and out that, of course, we talk about here every week on the Swingman Podcast.
Yeah. Okay, I've pulled a couple decent ones there. I can't lie.
Norm Powell's always a good one to have. Little Jeff Green.
Walker Kessler, if you get a lot of points for blocks as well, could be quite decent.
This is you building your MVP lineup, your Garage Hoops pickup team.
Yeah, I mean, that one's going in straight away.
Yeah, Jokic is your best MVP. And now I think I would personally, the way I build teams next, is I'd always look for who you've got as like the budget caps. You can scroll down to the bottom of them for it. I think maybe on the script, that'll be the way in which you can go down for the rest of the year.
If you couldn't tell throughout this podcast, it's going to be heavy deferral to George here because he is resident Sorare man. per se. So this is going to be a big run through.
Old man Jeff Green with the new hair is looking very well. I should say no hair is what it is the thing for it here.
I've seen this guy knocking about a bit. I don't know anything about him. Is the issue.
I have absolutely. I've not even seen him.
Yeah,
There's no way he's going to get minutes in the rotation.
I mean, I've just seen him in pre-season.
Yeah, with all these fantasy sort of things like Sorare or anything of that ilk, the one thing it definitely does do is improve your knowledge of whatever sport you're delving into, because you check all the obscure players you start learning about.
I think go for DiVincenzo for now, and then what does that average out for the next three? So now we've got 35 to play with for your final 3 slots, so you can go a bit more bougie here. Who would you feel is better for Jalen Brunson or Kristaps Porzingis?
I'm feeling more Kristaps. I don't know why. I'm feeling more Kristaps out of the two of those.
That's fair. And now you've got 30 now to pick between the two. So I mean, there is a universe where we might be able to go back and get Jalen Brunson, but I didn't see what your the rest of your lower cards were. Derek White's a solid one. I'm open. I've openly said he's my sixth man of the year. I've had some people on Twitter coming for me that he's probably not. He's probably going to start more games. A bit. So,
that's what we were saying.
I mean, I prefer Derek White to some of these people, but I'd probably prefer him to Norman Powell as well. But Derek White can. So is there a benefit? I'm just looking at it here. I've got 2 big men already. I know you don't have to actually come with like a functional lineup that actually works, but would you say in general, because I know in fantasy football, like fantasy Premier League, I should say, to clarify, that sort of like the midfielders are kind of what you target more than sort of like strikers, particularly, or like high price strikers that aren't Erling Haaland, because they're more well rounded, they get more points. But is there like a particular thing, like a big man or a guard?
So normally the big men are better in this game because they're going to get points, rebounds, and defensive actions. Like Jaren Jackson Jr. is a really solid big man when you dive into the whole realms of when you start paying for cards and you enter that sphere, you want younger players, obviously, because then they're going to hold value for a longer period of time. Because obviously, when you buy a card on Sorare, it's not per season; you own it forever, right? So all the cards that I bought in season 1, I've now got for season 2. So you want to sort of look at it in that realm. If you can get someone that scores like actual NBA points along with defensive actions or rebounds, it's normally quite well. Like your traditional guards like Chris Paul won't score particularly great because they'll get points, assists, but not really defensive actions in that manner.
I'll go with Wiggs. I'm going to go with Wiggs. Cole Anthony's a good shout there. He'll probably get some decent points.
Right, so now you've got your Garage Hoops lineup to do as well. So you've got your one set to win a potential limited card. Now here is your Garage Hoops one. So this one you use your other common cards for, and basically you can win better common cards that will then help you in the future for it. How it works. I think your MVP is kind of obvious here. You're going to go with
Yeah, there's no other option here particularly. No one of that sort of scoring volume anyway. You might have a couple of guys that have one-off games. The
thing is with this one as well, because the rest of your gallery is pretty sort of stats around that 30 mark, it kind of almost answers it for you. Like, even though Cole Anthony's not a great one at 31, he's playing the Rockets. Like,
is that a high price for Cole Anthony?
Yeah, 31 seems high.
Yeah, that seems high to me as well. Particularly, I think Walker Kessler at 34 seems quite high to me.
Yeah, anyway, I think when you think, because this is rookie season, you would expect a bump in blocks, points, and rebounds, like a decent bump at the very least.
I mean, it's not a reflection on how I rate the player actually quite. I really
obviously.
But for I'm trying to get my head around sort of like high scoring fantasy stuff, because I can understand it for fantasy football as much, but for basketball it always hasn't as translated as well for me personally. I've got Cole Anthony in
well, I feel like that's because with the fantasy one we usually do, there's a lot less that goes into the actual point scoring than it does on just over in general with Sorare and especially. So
just to, because I went and looked it up because I wanted to like double check myself just to be sure. So a point is a point, a rebound is 1.2, an assist is 1.5, a block is 3, a steal is 3, a turnover is -2, and then if you make a 3 you get an extra point, so it'd be 4 in total, and then a triple double is another point and a double double is another point. So that's why Nikola Jokic is normally like the farming king of points on Sorare for it. But there's obviously multitudes of factors that come into it. Like when Devin Booker went off for 71, that's going to outdo a 25 triple double. Like there's going to be points that will be up for grabs, and players have. It's actually weird when you think about, when you look at some of these players that will have, like Dylan Brooks can pop off on one random night because he'll have 20 with 5 boards, 5 assists, and like 4 blocks and 2 steals, or something like that, like 4 steals, 2 blocks. Like there are a lot of things that come into it. So that's why normally the big men tend to be great, because of those blocks that they've got.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Kevin Looney as well here. I think he'll play quite a few minutes for the Warriors. I mean, he plays quite a few minutes for them anyway, but genuinely is kind of imperative in them being like a somewhat decent defensive team while Draymond Green is out. I'm afraid I don't know Malaki Branham very well. I think I'm just going to go for the top one and go for DeAndre Hunter, even though I'm not sure about his starting potential, actually, given AJ Griffin may have placed. Is it AJ Griffin?
Yeah.
May have replaced him there in the starting lineup in Atlanta. But I don't think Xavier Tillman is a particularly high scorer. I think DeAndre Hunter at least has defensive actions more within him. So
I think Xavier Tillman at points played at the 5 last year for the Grizzlies, though, did he not? I think at points he might have gone at the 5 and JJJ was at the 4.
That's a good point.
Now with Steven Adams out for the season.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Could be a jump.
I would probably go, to be fair though, DeAndre Hunter is playing the Hornets. So then that's where it comes into it. Like Xavier Tillman's playing the Pels. The Hunters.
I mean, those both could be very bad teams. I mean, we don't really know. I think the Pelicans have a slightly higher ceiling. Yeah, I think I'll go for Hunter on that one personally. I think David Tillman's a decent player, but I don't see him high scoring in any case. Whereas I think Hunter can hit a couple threes. So
that's fair enough. But I think that it might be you done.
A few moments later.
Right, so this is Lewis's set of MVPs that he can pick. Lewis, what's the rundown? Who are you going to go for? Where's your thought process?
Well, what I will say first is after you gave us a lovely rundown of the scoring. Upon looking at the 5 that was given to me, I feel like Lewis is a bit better. So. I assume, I'll defer to you here, Joel, but I assume it's LeBron or Embiid, and Embiid's probably the pick because LeBron is not supposed to be playing every day.
Yeah, I would say Embiid's the pick. LaMelo Ball is an outside one because he does actually score quite well. I'd take Embiid for sure.
Yeah, I'll be taking.
Julius Randle not a decent option?
He is. He's a good option for it, but Embiid is better.
Are you sure about that?
He's like if you start. Okay, go one by one. Let's see how you're going to go for this.
Oh, yeah, true.
My pick for most improved
player, isn't it? Oh,
Kuzma. So you want like another big MVP, and then you're going to want some guys along here. Jalen Williams is a nice one. Jabari Smith. You're getting some nice under 23s as well.
Oh, Wiggins.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Trey Lyles and Alec Burks. I'm going to be honest. I think that's worse than those one.
Yeah, I think you got a worse hand there, but you never know. Right. So run us through. Like I want to see what you do, and then we'll if you need like some sort of who should I pick? Absolutely, but I want to see where your initial thoughts are.
I mean, it will be 100% who should I pick because you are the person that knows the most. So obviously Embiid has to go in kind of. Then after that, I mean, you think Desmond Bane with the Grizzlies' current team would actually have to step up quite a bit, so that could turn out being nice or nicer than it would have been. So I think I might need an Al Horford, and then I can go like just over 30 for the last 2. So
that's just smacking Al Horford in there.
I'm not sure if you saw the Washington Wizards preseason game, but no one else is getting a shot bar Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole. Just saying.
Yeah, well, we'll start with the 29s, and I'll throw TJ McConnell next. Why not? What are our thoughts on picking one of McConnell, Barrett, or Buddy Hield?
Buddy Hield would be the one, but I'm just uncertain on where he is at the moment with the Pacers. With obviously he's officially on the trading block for it.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. That's why I'd steer clear. That's why I would steer clear.
I would be taking RJ Barrett out of those 3.
I think so as
well. Boston's not ideal. Wolf tracking in. And then it's Kuzma, Jalen Williams, Jabari Smith Jr. or Wiggs.
I'm taking
Kuzma. I'd go Kuzma.
Screw it, why not?
Consensus.
Unless you, where are the thoughts? What was your fit? Did you have another one?
Well, I'm not really sure on Jalen Williams' capacity for scoring on this game because obviously a lot of the time, well, not a lot of the time when you think of Jalen Williams, it's more the defensive side of things, and he obviously scores a decent amount of points as well. I feel like Kuzma's a bit more of a focal point for the Wizards, so you might be able to rack up some points a bit easier.
I think, especially this year with Kuzma being on that Wizards team with just Jordan Poole now, I think he's the definitive option. Jalen Williams last year scored really, really well, but I think it's going to be slightly different for him this year now with Chet around. So.
Okay, so I don't know enough about Sorare, is what you're telling me to decide whether Jalen Williams
in general. I think in terms of what you've got there, you've got an MVP that can score you a 60 to 65 quite comfortably. Desmond Bane can outperform his cap. Al Horford at 24 could definitely outperform his cap if he's a starter. And then both RJ Barrett and Kuzma should. RJ Barrett against the Celtics is going to be tough, but Kuzma should outperform 31. So in the sort of common modes, it's ultra competitive because obviously there's loads of people that play it for a smaller reward pool. But yeah, I mean, you've got as good a chance as anyone is what I'd say.
I'll be interested to see what if anyone has anything to say about what Louis ended up with versus what I ended up with. But I feel like I've got the worst team out of
the short end of the stick for it.
I got some variation at least.
It's all right. We'll send it in.
So reference for the group. This is what I had as my common cards that were given to me this year. This was the lineup that I put together and that I got. I got Luka as my main MVP, and I've run through this in another video beforehand. But I got Luka as my main MVP. But there are rumors that I'm not sure he's even going to be 100% fit to play in this game. So in any case, for the time being, I'm going to swap him out to Drew Holiday, which will then make Kawhi Leonard my MVP. I picked up a Derek White, I got a Gabe Vincent and a Marcus Smart. Now I can move Gabe Vincent up to a Marvin Bagley III, but I'm not sure if his dad's fallen out with whoever is around the Pistons now. I'm not sure on Marvin Bagley III for it, but I think in any case I'd still run with Gabe Vincent for it. But I mean, I feel like again I've probably got a better hand than you here, Lewis. I think you got quite
that made me feel even worse about what I ended up with. To be honest, as soon as I saw the second person was Desmond Bain going off of how they came out for Louis, I knew it was over for me. So that's great.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for you. But I mean, there's ways in which you earn the common cards that will help you get better and get a better gallery throughout the season for it.
I will say I like Marcus Smart in there because I know with not like an alpha, there is an alpha, I guess, in the Grizzlies just collectively, but when there's no one else to take a shot, Marcus Smart will do. Basically, is the defensive actions as well.
And just before we get out of here, also just a quick one to mention, like I said at the top of the video, we're running a giveaway over here on the Swingman Pod on our Twitter. There'll be a link to the tweet for the giveaway in the description down below to get involved with. I'm going to be giving away a Cam Johnson 23-24 new minted card. That's going to go away to one of you that are subscribed to here on our YouTube channel. But to get involved in it, the tweet is in the description. Go over there and get involved. And that's going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know who you think had the best sort of MVP common draft that we had of the three of us. Let us know in the comments down below. Do you think Lewis also got shifted with the cards that he got? Thank you very much for listening. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.